What is going on YouTube? Today I got every fight to make after the first numbered events of the year, UFC 324 and 325. I'm gonna get started right away with uh, Alexander Volkanovski after his win against Diego Lopez at UFC 325. This is the obvious one: Movsar versus Lerone Murphy. I know a couple videos ago I said I think Movsar would wash the floor with Lerone Murphy, but the more I watch him across a 5 round fight, I don't know if he'll just dominate in the grappling like people say he will just because of where he's from. I watched his fight against Aljo. I still think he lost that fight. I thought he lost against Arnold Allen. In his grappling, I don't know if he can keep that up for 5 rounds, and he's just nothing on the feet at all. So I didn't pick one between Lerone Murphy and Movsar, but they're both pretty shit, so this will be an easy fight for Volk anyway, but we know this is the fight to make. Moving on, though, another one that we know is going to happen. Justin Gaethje versus Ilia is the fight to make. It should be at the White House. It will be at the White House as the main event for sure. Yeah, this is just a Justin, you earned it, but you're getting KO'd, bro. I'm sorry. This is one of those type fights. Ilia Topuria should watch him in a round or two, especially from what we saw in Justin versus Paddy. Ilia just tweeted like 3 hours ago, the champ is back with a training montage video. So we know he's done with that whole court dispute or whatever with his ex-wife and his children. So the obvious fight to make. Let's move on to the big one though. Paddy Pimblett got washed against Justin Gaethje, dominated, looked like absolute dog shit. Give him Renato Moicano. Moicano's got a fight coming up, and his opponent was Brian Ortega. I don't believe they found a replacement for him yet, but he should win whoever his replacement is. They won't give him a young killer. I think they'll give him someone that he can grapple against. And even if he loses, he won't drop out of the rankings. Bro, I see people talking about Paddy should fight Benoit Saint-Denis and all of this shit. Absolutely not. Paddy Pimblett does not get a big step up. He already got the big step up against Justin Gaethje and proved that he doesn't belong fighting the top of the division. Renato Moicano's ranked number 10, I think, and Paddy's number 6. Under Paddy is Dan Hooker, now Mauricio Rufy, and someone else I forget. But they've got history. They'll both deliver at a press conference if they're the second fight on a numbered card or a feature fight on the numbered card. They will deliver at a press conference. They will talk shit to each other. And this is an approachable matchup for both. Moicano can, he doesn't really have to worry about Paddy's stand-up. They could grapple each other. And Moicano's old. He's looked slower. We saw Beneil get the better of him on the feet. So this is an approachable matchup for both fighters. And I think it'll get Paddy in the win column because I do think he'll beat Moicano. It'll get him in the win column. It'll let him talk a bunch of shit in the build-up and afterwards. And then you can start looking towards at that time, Mauricio Rufy's or, maybe Benoit Saint-Denis coming off a loss because they'll be on the same timeline. Paddy's going to need a shit ton of time. He probably won't fight again until he fought in January. He probably won't fight again until August, the end of the year type. And Moicano's fighting in March. He probably won't fight again until, around that time either. He's not really an active guy anymore. So this is the fight to make. Again, I can't see Paddy getting a step up in competition, getting like a BMF fight or something. I see people talking a bunch of bullshit. Give him who he needs to fight at this point to help him build his name back. Moving on, though, to the loser of the 325 main event, Diego Lopez. Give him Aljamain Sterling. Aljo deserves this fight because there's really no one else for Aljo to fight. Aljo's ranked number 5, I believe. Yeah, I think it's Movsar, Diego, Lerone, or Yair, Lerone, Aljo. I think that's how the order is, or it's around that. And Lerone and Movsar are fighting. Volk obviously won't fight Diego Lopez again. Diego Lopez needs another fight. And Yair Rodriguez is out, but I've got him matched up with somebody else on this list. So give Aljo Lopez. These are both approachable matchups for each other. Aljo can find himself trying to grapple Diego Lopez, and Diego Lopez can for sure knock Aljo out. So it's an approachable matchup for both. I think if Aljo wins, you give him a title shot. I think if Lopez wins, he needs another 3 fights before he can even sniff a title shot. But you don't want him fighting too low in the rankings, fighting some like Yusuf Zalal. I don't think Yusuf Zalal deserves this fight yet with Diego Lopez. Obviously can't do a Gene Silva matchup. Arnold Allen just lost. You can't go too low. And excuse me. And Aljo's not really the most active guy at this point in his career. He's picking fights that he knows that he can most likely win against. I love Aljo, but I'm calling it what it is. I think he has a chance against Diego Lopez. I really do. The grappling is a lot, and I don't see Aljo getting submitted at any point in his career. So this is the fight to make, and I think it's a no fucking brainer. Moving on, though. Man, I don't even know if I have to talk about this one. Neither of these fuckers are getting a title shot. Neither of them. Sean O'Malley, for sure not. He's coming off 1 win. He's 1-3 in his last 3. Why are we talking about giving him a title shot? This shit is blowing my fucking mind. Why is he talking about getting a title shot? Peter Yan's got some injury. He won't be fighting until July, I think, or August, something around there. He's fighting Merab Dvalishvili in a trilogy, 1,000%. Merab's done more than enough to deserve to run it back for his title, for his opportunity to get his belt back. And neither of these guys have done anything impressive since losing to Merab to warrant skipping him to fight Peter Yan. None of them. Especially not Sean O'Malley. Umar Nurmagomedov, I mean, who did he beat? He lost to Merab, then he sat out for a year and fought Mario Batista. Or not a year, he sat out for like 10 months, fought Mario Batista. Then he fought... Is this his only fight? Mario Batista and then Davison Figueiredo? No fucking way. No fucking way people are calling for a title shot. I was about to try to justify Umar getting a title shot, but I think his last 2 fights are Mario Batista and Davison Figueiredo. Get the fuck out of here. People are talking about Umar getting a title fight after Mario Batista, that weak, boring-ass fight, and Davison Figueiredo, one of the worst fights I've ever seen. None of these fuckers should be fighting for a belt. If Sean O'Malley beats Umar, he still shouldn't fight for a belt. If Umar beats Sean, fine. But these fuckers, they have no one else to fight because Umar's beaten those guys. He's beat Corey Sandhagen, and Song Yadong just lost to Sean O'Malley. The only other fight you can justify making Sean O'Malley with is Corey Sandhagen. But let those 2 fight. Winner gets a title shot. There's story there. If the winner's Merab, then Merab. If Merab beats Peter Yan, then obviously you can't book Sean versus Merab 3. It'd be unjustified. But if Umar beats Sean O'Malley, Merab beats Peter Yan, book them. Book them in a fucking title rematch. If Peter Yan wins, then you can book either one of these 2, whoever wins this fight. But this fight should be the fight to happen. They're number 2 and 3, I think. Yeah, they're 2 and 3 in the division. There's no one else for them to fight. They need to fight each other. I'm not trying to hear all that bullshit about Umar getting a title fight after 2 boring performances where he didn't deserve to fight for a title in the first place against Merab. Get the fuck out of here. Moving on. Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, you see the trifecta of the most dangerous fighters in the fucking division outside of Ilia Topuria. I didn't know who to choose from. It all really depends on timeline because BSD is extremely active. I mean, he's got 4 fights since last May, I think it was. He fought Kyle Prepolek, then he fought Rufi, then he fought Benil, then he just beat Dan Hooker. All finishes. So he's an active fucker. He didn't take a lot of damage against Dan Hooker. So it depends on how active he wants to be and how crazy these 2 fight. I was going to say the loser of the BMF fight with Charles and Max fights Benoit Saint-Denis. And then the winner of that fights Arman Tsarukyan for a title shot. But these guys, when you think about it, they don't fight that. They're not super active, especially Max at this point. Charles has been more active because he fought Ilia and then he immediately booked a fight against Rafael Fiziev in fucking October. So that's pretty active. But they can sit out for a while, especially if they take a lot of damage from each other, which they most likely will. The loser can fight Benoit Saint Denis. The winner can fight Arman Tsarukyan. Excuse me. If Arman Tsarukyan finds himself sitting out for too long because Justin Gaethje and Ilia is in the White House, and then these two Max and Charles beat each other up so much that they need a bunch of time and shit like that, and Arman doesn't want to wait, then you can book VSD versus Arman for a number one contender fight or something like that. That's the only reason I have Arm in here, because if these two take too long for a turnaround, then you can book Arman and BSD. But otherwise, I want to see him fight the winner or the loser of the BMF fight, and the winner of the BMF fight Arman Tsarukyan. That's just what makes the most sense to me. You're not gonna have BSD, who's just running through people right now, fight down and fight Paddy Pimblett. I keep seeing people match him up against someone who's ranked below him who just got fucking demolished. That's stupid as fuck. So again, BSD likes to be active. If Arman Tsarukyan wants to be active, match those two up, because Arman knows he's not getting a title shot. Otherwise, book him against the loser of the BMF fight. Moving on. Let's get this one off the way. Waldo Cortez Acosta just not sleeps Derek Lewis. He just outfats Derek Lewis, and there's no other fight to make it heavyweight, so book this one. Waldo's ranked number 5, I think. It goes Tom, Cyril Gane, Volkov, Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, and then Waldo Cortez Acosta. He's already fought Sergey Pavlovich. Curtis Blades has a fight coming up, I believe. And then Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall have to run their fight back. Volkov's the only one without a matchup right now, and he's not getting a title shot anytime soon. So book these two. Opening fight on a main card of a numbered event. Second fight on the main card of a numbered event. Apex Fight Night main event or Fight Night main event, 1 and 2. One of those type of heavyweight fights, high-ranked heavyweight fights. This is the one that makes sense. It's either Waldo versus Curtis Blades or Waldo versus Alexander Volkov. And I'd rather see him fight Volkov because they're most likely to end in a finish. I don't know if Curtis Blades is going to go against Waldo and think to stand up with him and think that his plotty-ass striking is going to beat Waldo, who is also a plotter, but he's more fluid with his plotting. You know what I mean? He gets more of a flow state than these other fat blobs. So, obvious matchup to make here. Mauricio Rufy, big win against Rafael Fiziev. He spiked all the way up to number 9 or 8. Give him Gamrot, who's, I think, a spot or two above him. I think Gamrot's if Paddy's 6, Gamrot's 7 or 8, and Rufy's 9 or 10. I think Rufy's 9 and Gamrot's 8. Perfect fight for Rufy because he can't really fight anybody else. He just got obliterated by Benoit, and he's obviously not going to fight above Benoit. So it's either Paddy or Gamrot. And I think you give him that grappler test to see if he's really about it, to see if he's really serious about his training and about being that up-and-comer, And plus, people don't really like Gamrot, so if he sleeps Gamrot, his hype's right back. He's the next big thing. Oh, he should fight Ilia. Oh, he could beat Ilia. He could snipe his lights out. And Gamrot's beatable, and this is also an approachable fight for Gamrot. You can't just give Rufy another striker matchup after you give him one after he gets fucking bulldozed by BSD. You can't do that. That's not how shit works. With the new UFC, that's probably how it works. But I wouldn't match him up against another striker, and there's no other striker for you to match him up against. I mean, everybody ranked above him is Gamrot, Paddy, and then BSD, and then you're not fighting like Max Holloway or some shit at this point in your career. You're just not doing it. So him versus Gamrot, make it soon, man. Rufy didn't take a lot of damage. I know he had the flu or some shit Volk was talking about. So give him 3 months until you book his next fight and let him fight in fucking June or July or something, It's February, early February. Let these fuckers fight. If they want to get a title shot, let them fight. The next fighting nerd, well, I guess Rufy's not a fighting nerd anymore, but a fighting nerd, Gene Silva just beat Arnold Allen a couple weeks ago in a very, very exciting fight of the night, in my opinion. Yair Rodriguez. Gene Silva's sitting at number 6, I think. Yair Rodriguez is holding captive of that number 3 spot. I don't know how. He hasn't won a fight in 3 years. Has it been 3 years? Has it been 3 years? He beat Josh Emmett for the interim belt. Then he lost to Volk. So Josh Emmett, he beat. Then he lost to Volk. He sat out. Then fought Brian Ortega, I believe. And then he got choked out against Brian Ortega after fumbling a finish. And then he comes back. Oh, no. He just beat Patricio Pitbull. He beat Pitbull in a boring shithole fight. So Yair's sitting there. He beat Pitbull. He's not doing anything. Let him fight Gene Silva. It'll be a very interesting striking matchup for sure. It'll be fun as fuck to watch. Maybe Yair can actually do something for once. Even though it was more Pitbull's fault, maybe Yair can fight for fun for once. And he's coming off an injury. Gene Silva likes to be active, but I heard Yair's return time was around March, April. So book this fight, number 3 versus number 6. And if Yair wins, shit. One more fight after that, he gets a title shot. You know, if Gene wins, you can justify giving Gene a title shot. It's one of those type, Gene's talking about getting a title fight right now. I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm not giving that my energy. Book him against Yair Rodriguez. It's literally the only fight that makes sense for him. He lost to Diego Lopez. Lerone Malvazar are fighting. Unless you give him Aljo, which I don't like him versus Aljo. It's not a fun fight. I think at least Diego Lopez has the grappling to like create scrambles and shit with Aljo, and it'll be a fun fight. I think Aljo would probably try to wet blanket Gene Silva, and Gene Silva would just like be tarding his way forward. So Gene versus Yair, entertaining fight, big title implications. Moving on. Let's get this one out the way. Natalia Silva robbed Rose Namajunas, and now she's going to get a title shot because my beautiful Valentina, this woman right here, I love so much. She cleared out her division. She's the greatest women's fighter of all time. She cleared out her division, and Natalia Silva's next up, and she's going to get bitched. Dan Hooker. Now, I thought long and hard about this Dan Hooker one. I was thinking, man, Dan Hooker, when you put him in a fight with a striker, that motherfucker he has firefights. Oh my gosh, they already fought. Doesn't matter. When you put Dan Hooker in a firefight, he's going to put on a show, whether he wins or loses. Him against Jalen Turner was a good fight. Him against Dustin Poirier is one of the greatest fights of all time. Him against Michael Chandler in Michael Chandler's debut, Michael Chandler knocked him out quick. So not giving Dan Hooker these fucking grapplers would be a treat for the fans to watch, as you can see. All these fights in super exciting finishes on the feet, and that's what people need to see from Dan Hooker. They want to see violence. They want to see blood. And Michael Chandler doesn't need to get a grappler matchup anymore either. You can book this on the White House card as a prelim main event type, as a opener of the main card type, you know. They're going to fight each other for 3 rounds, hard as fuck. They aren't going to grapple with one another. They're going to be entertaining. And I'm tired of seeing Dan Hooker fight against grapplers. He gets Gamrot. He squeaks a victory against Gamrot. Then he gets Arman. Why did you give him Arman? And then you give him BSD. BSD fucking mauls him. So no more grapplers for him. If you're not going to let Michael Chandler hold or fight for his ranking spot against someone like Faresiam, which is clear that they don't want to do, give him Dan Hooker. Give us an exciting fight. Loser loses their ranking or something. If Michael Chandler loses, he'll probably fucking retire at this point. I'd like to see this fight. I think Dan Hooker's a little better than he was after Poirier took his soul and they just fed him to Chandler at that point. I think this would be a good fight to watch. It'd be really fun to watch this on the White House card. Dan Hooker even called him out. He called Michael Chandler out for the White House, so it's perfect. Michael Chandler's not getting the counter fight anymore, as we know. So why not? Literally, why not? He's not getting the counter fight. Who else is there for him to fight? You're not going to feed him a young up-and-comer. He's perfect for the White House. He embodies everything American. Perfect fight. Song Yadong, the loser of the co-main event of 324 against Sean O'Malley. Song Yadong, I think he should fight Mario Batista. I don't know why I have Batista so big in this. I'm sorry. Mario Batista has a fight this upcoming Saturday against Vinicius Oliveira in the main event of an Apex card. and I think he's gonna run through Vinicius Oliveira, um, and then he'll be looking upward in the division. He's already fighting down by like 4 slots, I think. So he'll be looking up in the division, and this is a fresh matchup. The thing about Song Yadong is he's fought every fucking body. Song Yadong's fought everybody at bantamweight, it seems like. He's fought Sean O'Malley. He can't fight Umar. He's fought Corey Sandhagen. He can't fight Figgy. Figgy just lost. Well, he could, but and then he's fought everybody below him. Give Song Yadong Mario Batista a fresh matchup. Mario should beat Vinicius Oliveira with ease. And Song Yadong probably, he doesn't need that much time, but they'll be on the same timeline. They're ranked next to each other. I think this is the obvious matchup to make. It'll probably be a shit boring fight, but this is the fight to make, unfortunately. Yeah. Rafael Fiziev, I got him moving down to featherweight, man. I love Fiziev. His striking is just some of the best. He's got the prettiest striking, some of the prettiest striking I've ever seen. But he just doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the frame for lightweight. He just doesn't. He can't jab. He can't really punch at lightweight because he's so much shorter and he has such shorter reach. He's got to go down to featherweight. If he can make it, I think he should go to featherweight. And I think they shouldn't give him who would they give him? I don't think he should get like a Morgan Charrier matchup at featherweight. I think he should be fighting in the rankings, and Patricio Pitbull is right there for him. Someone who's not super active, but looking for a fight right now. Featherweight needs some movement. Why don't you let Fiziev go down and fight Patricio Pitbull? They could put on an exciting fight, and I think Fiziev would just be better there. Maybe he'll have some power down in featherweight. Maybe he's already got shit cardio, so what's the difference? He's fighting more guys that are his height. He's like 5'8", it looks like 5'9" when he gets in there. His arms are fucking... He can't jab with those guys there. He can't punch with them. He's very hittable at 55. And I thought he beat Gaethje, but those days are behind him at this point. And Pitbull shit, so why not make them fight? It should be interesting. Fiziev always puts on interesting fights when he's fighting. I think this should be the fight. And it's approachable. It's winnable for both fighters, for sure. I don't want to see Fiziev at 55 anymore. I just don't think he's going to... I don't like to see him lose. And I think he's going to lose if he continues to fight at 55. So, unfortunately, that's that. Arnold Allen, though. Arnold Allen took a close loss against Gene Silva in his debut. He was out for a year and a half. Steve Garcia versus Arnold Allen, man. When I was looking through the rankings, I'm like, damn, this is so obvious to make. Steve Garcia coming off that win against David Onama last year. And what a just beautiful striking matchup you can make. Two technical strikers, two crazy guys. Or one's crazy, the other one's got like that poise, power. This will be an amazing fight, and they're close to each other in the rankings. Arnold Allen's probably number 7 or 8 now. Steve Garcia's like, I think 8 or 9, one of the two. They're right next to each other, and it makes sense for them to fight. And it's approachable for both two. That's the word. That's when I think of these matchups. I think, who's the approachable guy for this guy? Who's gonna put on a show with this guy? And I think they'd put on a fucking show. They would put on a show no matter where they are. And it just makes sense. They're right next to each other in the rankings. Why not? They've never fought each other. Why not? We're getting towards the end. I swear we are. This one's pretty simple. Stop giving Ateba Gutierrez layups. No more cans. No more Tricoli level fighters. Give him someone who's right outside the rankings who can make him look good. And who could actually could beat him, honestly. Marvin Vettori, if he's powering through Ateba Gutierrez shots with that iron chin of his, he could beat Ateba Gutierrez, because Ateba Gutierrez is hittable and he's pretty basic with everything he does. It's one overhand. That's all he does. He doesn't chop low anymore. He doesn't kick high like he did on the regional scene or in the LFA or wherever he was before this. He doesn't do that anymore. This is an approachable matchup, and it's also one of those where let's see if you really got power. Let's see you destroy the Vettori chin. You know what I'm saying? Let's see it. Vettori's shit anyway, but I'm not a Teba Gutierrez style. It's in the shitter right now. We're almost done, I swear. This is the second to last one. Quillen Salkiel, big win over Jamie Malarkey. I don't think it's time to give him a ranked opponent yet, because all those guys that just got ranked, they had to go through hellfire and brimstone to get ranked, like Fares Yam and all those guys. I think Manuel Torres is ranked now. But you know what I mean. Like, those guys, it took them a while to get ranked. Ignacio Bahamondes, you know, those guys. Grant Dawson is now unranked after losing his last fight. Give him Grant Dawson. I think he's style on Grant Dawson. I don't think Grant Dawson could take him down. And I think if Grant Dawson wins, it'd be like, damn, I just beat this new prospect. I'm right back in it. I'm right back in the rankings. But for Quillen Salkiel, this is his intro into the rankings. He wins this, he could take that number 15 spot right away. Or if he wins this in spectacular fashion, shit, you could justify bumping him up and giving him a fight against number 8 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they're on the same schedule. Quillen took no damage, and Grant Dawson just lost he lost recently. He lost in December. He lost on the last pay-per-view, I think. So this would be a perfect. They're on the same course. They line up with each other. It's star potential in the making with Quillen Salkiel beating Grant Dawson, because Grant Dawson's a crotch sniffer and people like to see him slept. We can see that happen. Make the fight. Every fight that I put on this list, I'm not shitting you. These are the fights to make. Like, I would be shocked if they don't make these fights. This makes so much fucking sense, and they match up perfectly with timelines. It took me a few days. Not like it was that fucking hard, but there's a reason this didn't come out faster, because I would match somebody up and I would be like, that makes no fucking sense. You're dumb. These are the fights to make. And then the last one, Talison Teixeira wins the blob off against Tai Tuivasa. Shamil Gaziev, I know he's ranked a spot above Talison, or Talison is ranked a spot above Shamil, but he's dog shit, and literally everyone above him is already ranked or already booked for a fight. The Tyburas, the Spivaks, the Ante Delicias, the Waldo Cortez, like all of those guys have just fought. Like, Waldo just fought, but everyone above him literally is booked for a fight. I shit you not. Every single heavyweight above him from 11 to 6 or some shit is booked for a fight. So this is the fight to make. Blob off. I hope Shamil KOs him for the memes. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. Stay tuned for the next one. Content coming out soon. Y'all have a great rest of your day.